right, so this is the first video back in 5 months or 6 months. I think every video that I've done over the last year, I've said at the end of the video, like, I'm gonna be more consistent now. This is gonna be it, like posting every week, and I never do it. So moving forward, basically how we're gonna structure these videos is instead of what I've done historically, which is create a video, I sit down and like do a topic and, you know, I try and create a video. What we're just gonna do now is really just record my normal day-to-day life, what it is that I do, and if you're interested, you can watch it. If you're not, you don't need to watch it. So a bit of backstory, where I've been over the last year to 2 years is essentially 2 years ago. If any of you have been following me for longer than that, you would have remembered I had a course called Quantum Leap Ecom Agency. And at the time I had an e-commerce agency as well. And I was doing YouTube to drive traffic to that coaching course, Quantum Leap Ecom Agency. And, you know, at the time it was probably doing around 60K a month. And really what I wanted to focus on at that time, probably this is more so like 3 years ago, was going from 60K a month to like 500K a month, right? $1 million a month. That's always been the goal. It's always been the focus. And at the time, what I realized was that through just by posting on YouTube, I wasn't able to go from 60 to like 120 and then 120 to 240 and 250 to, you know, 500. It wasn't like the inputs didn't equal outputs, right? I did more videos. It didn't necessarily mean that I made more sales. So then I had the good idea in some ways and bad idea in other ways to just go all in on paid ads. I was like, you know, the most scalable form of acquisition is paid ads. I just need to crack that. So what I did in hindsight now, kind of looking at it, it's a little silly. I went, let's forget organic entirely. So I basically stopped posting. You can see on my channel I have like 300 videos and it just almost stops. So I stopped organic and then went all in on paid ads. And really that's what we've been doing over the last 2.5 to 3 years, is just all in on paid ads. You know, we started off spending maybe 5, 10K a month. Now we spend like, I think last month we spent 300 grand across 2 separate funnels that we have. But now I'm in a place to where, okay, we've got ads locked in, you know, that's where we get all of our clients from. But I do want to start picking back up the camera and just really, you know, people call it documenting. That's really what it's just going to be. It's just like, here's my day, here's what I do, here's what I run. And we'll record it. That's really it. Now, in terms of the model itself, I mentioned that we was obviously doing a coaching course, you know, typical. And now what we do, now we have a full-on agency. I don't do any coaching or anything like that. It's part of the product, I would say, but I'd say we've got an agency. We don't have a coaching product. And so what we now do is we work with agencies, coaches. If you see any of our ads, you'll know what we do pretty much, but agencies, coaches, and we run their ads. So like I said, we've gone all in on paid, and we've really cracked the code on paid ads for acquiring high ticket clients, agency clients, and you know, like high ticket coaching clients. And so now we've basically taken that system and now we just replicate it into our clients' businesses. So it's a little inception, like we're an agency that serves agencies and we run ads. The ads that we run for ourselves, we also run for our clients. But also that's kind of why we're so good at it, because like I just said before, we spend 300K a month on our own ads, and then like all those learnings we just put into clients. Now we get, as I said before, all of our clients from ads. So these videos are not to try and sign clients. It's really just showing you what we do behind the scenes, and that's it. All right, so about to do the first in-person podcast. It's what is it? Branded by ACC?
No, it's just ACC podcast. It's called the ACC podcast series.
First in-person podcast, the ACC podcast series. And, you know, I'm always talking online. I'm always, you know, on Zoom meetings and whatnot. This is the first one in person, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I'm out here on the road. You can hear it in the voice. Still get this shit off though. Look.
This is your first supercar ever. And you brought yourself a Horror Inspired. Mm-hmm. How long have you had the car?
2 months. 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And initial thoughts? Love it? Hate it?
Well, it's my first supercar, so I don't have much to compare it to, but I love it.
Yeah.
But just coming and seeing that over my left shoulder, and now I'm like, oh, I need to step it up again. So just wrapped up first official podcast in person. I'm always blabbing online. It's actually the first one in person. Talk through a couple of different things, business, car stuff, and
getting one of these types of cars, a lot of people always kind of question, is it good investment? Should you do it? Should you not? Whatever. But honestly, I mean, I don't know the value of it, if I'm going to lose money or not, but the connections that you can make through obviously other people who have a Lamborghini, that's a Lamborghini. So, naturally there's a connection there, and then you make connections, all this stuff like networking. I've always kind of, been like, fuck networking, but it's very, very good. So that was, great podcast, great connections made, and that's it. All right, so just on way to the gym. We're testing out a new gym actually today, because Perth gyms, if you don't live here, they are horrific. Cannot find a good one, and I've been kind of putting up with one for a while, and then I'm just finding my motivation is going. So I've not been to the gym. Well, I've been going like a couple of times a week, which is basically no point in going. So we're gonna go try a new one. Looks pretty good. I think it's like 3 weeks old or something. So we'll try to get some clips in there, see what's going on. And yeah, goal right now is just to get back to the gym consistently, get into a good routine. Been in a really good routine with work recently, but not fitness. So see how it goes.
Lucy, how are you?
Morning. Yes, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well.
To be honest, the reason why we wanted to do this one-to-one with you, obviously for the guidance, but it's also because I'm like, well, you've done it. You've gone from zero to whatever in however many years. Therefore, it must be possible.
One of the big things that I am now putting majority of my focus into is recruiting great people. For me, when I look back, growing in early days and whatever else, the problem was the people operating fulfillment back then were not the right people. It's not like we have a whole new fulfillment system, but now our churn is significantly lower than it used to be, just because we have way better people in the roles. To get to 500, a million, as we've spoken about, it's just a team thing. And I'm also seeing that right now. Like, I'm putting all of my time and effort into the team, and I'm just seeing we're making such big strides and improvements, not because we're changing anything, just because we have way better people that we're bringing on, and they ramp a whole lot quicker. Because what my big picture mindset with recruiting right now is trying to find people who have done the exact position we're hiring for at a company that's bigger than us. So then when we bring them to us, obviously we grow as a byproduct of their knowledge and whatever else, because they've seen a step ahead from us. All right, so that was a one-on-one consulting call with maybe 6 or 7 like one-on-one clients that I work with on a weekly basis. They went from like 0 to I think she mentioned £62,000 a month in, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months. And they're experiencing some problems that's super common. Founder was on the sales calls, closing sales herself. And then she, obviously to get to the next level, she needs to install a closer. And then when she installed the closer, did well initially when they were closing half and half. So, the founder was doing 50% of the sales, closer was doing the other 50%, or taking the other 50% of the sales calls, doing pretty well. And then they went all to the closer. So 100% of the calls then went to the closer. Closer got a bit overwhelmed, sales decreased. So we just, as you would have, I'm sure, seen, went through a couple of the things that I would do, because I've experienced the same thing with us. So just went through that, and then also went through a couple of the things that's kind of to come for her. And once they get to probably 100K a month or so, the next big focus, and again, I know this, I've just been through it so many times, the next big focus is going to be a people focus for them, which is obviously a recruiting. They really need to go all in on recruiting, finding the best talent, building them up, managing them, obviously holding high standards like we talked about as well. So overall, very productive call. I think they'll probably get to 100K a month by, they said end of September on there. I think that's very, very achievable, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see how we go. And yeah, that's it. I need to stop saying that. Yeah, that's it.